You wake up. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just slowly. Your eyes open, but something feels off. You reach for your phone, you unlock it, you stare at the screen, and then it hits you. Why did I pick this up? A name slips from your memory, a task disappears mid-thought. You walk into a room and forget why you're there. It's subtle, quiet, almost invisible, but it's happening every single day. Now, imagine this. What if the problem isn't your memory? What if your brain was never trained in the first place? What if everything you've believed about having a bad memory is just a lie you've repeated long enough to accept? Because somewhere along the way, you weren't taught how to use your mind. You were told to memorize, to repeat, to cram. But no one ever showed you how memory actually works. And that's where everything begins to change. Chapter 1. Your memory is not broken. There's a man sitting in a crowded cafe. He's in his late 20s, coffee in front of him, laptop open. He looks normal, average, until something unusual happens. A friend walks in, waves, and jokingly says, "Bet you can't remember everyone in this cafe." The man smiles. He glances around once, slowly, calmly. 10 seconds. That's all he takes. Then he begins. The woman by the window, blue scarf, reading a novel. The guy behind you, checking his phone every 5 seconds. The barista, left-handed, tattoo on his wrist. One by one, he recalls nearly every person, every detail, perfectly. Now here's the truth. He wasn't born special. He wasn't gifted. He trained his brain. Because memory isn't about intelligence. It's about method. Most people believe memory is like a container. Some have a big one, some have a small one. But that's wrong. Memory is more like a muscle. Unused, it weakens. Trained, it becomes powerful. Think about your own life. You forget names 5 seconds after hearing them, but you remember song lyrics from years ago. You forget where you put your keys, but you remember a painful moment from childhood in vivid detail. Why? Because your brain doesn't remember what you want. It remembers what you make meaningful. Emotion, association, attention, these are the real triggers of memory. That cafe man didn't try harder. He simply used a different system. Instead of seeing random people, he created connections, stories, visual cues, tiny details. Your brain loves patterns. It loves images. It remembers what feels alive. So the real question isn't, why is my memory bad? The real question is, why was I never taught how to use it? Chapter 2. The Secret Language of Your Brain. Picture this. You're trying to remember a simple list. Milk, bread, eggs, apples. Simple, right? Now wait 5 minutes. Gone. But now let's change something. Imagine this instead. A giant carton of milk explodes as you open your door, flooding your house like a white ocean. You slip, fall, and land on a giant loaf of bread. Soft, warm. Suddenly, eggs start raining from the ceiling, cracking all around you. And then an apple rolls toward you, slowly, unnaturally, watching you. Now pause. Did you feel that? That weird, almost ridiculous scene? That's exactly the point. Your brain is not designed to remember boring information. It is designed to remember stories, images, movement, emotion. The stranger and more vivid, the better. This is the secret language of your mind. And once you understand it, everything changes. Let's go deeper. There's a medical student, overwhelmed, exhausted, surrounded by textbooks. Hundreds of terms, complex processes, endless information. He studies for hours and forgets most of it. Frustrated, he tries something different. Instead of memorizing words, he turns them into stories. Each medical term becomes a character. Each process becomes a scene. The human body transforms into a living world inside his mind. Days later, something incredible happens. He doesn't just remember, he sees the information, clearly, instantly. He passes his exams not by working harder, but by working with his brain instead of against it. And that's the shift. Your brain isn't a machine for storing data. It's a storyteller, a visual engine, a pattern-seeking system. When you feed it plain facts, it resists. When you feed it imagination, it absorbs. So the next time you forget something, don't blame your memory. Blame the way it was presented. Because the moment you learn to translate information into the brain's language, you unlock something powerful, something dangerous, something most people never discover. And this is only the beginning.
Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly focused, without distraction, for more than 10 minutes? No phone, no notifications, no wandering thoughts pulling you away. Just you and one single thing. If you're honest, it's rare. And that's not an accident. Chapter 3. Attention, the gatekeeper of memory. Imagine your brain as a massive guarded city. Information stands outside the gates, waiting to enter. Names, ideas, conversations, moments. But there's a guard at the entrance, and his name is attention. If he lets something in, it gets stored. If he ignores it, it disappears. Simple as that. Now here's the problem. Most people try to improve memory without ever fixing attention. It's like trying to fill a bucket full of holes. Think about it. Someone tells you their name. Hey, I'm Adam. You nod, you smile, but in your mind, you're thinking about what to say next, or how you look, or something completely unrelated. 5 seconds later, the name is gone. Not because your memory failed, but because your attention never showed up. You didn't encode the information. You never gave it a chance. Let's make it real. There's a woman at a networking event. She meets 10 new people in 1 hour. 10 names, 10 faces. By the end of the night, she remembers maybe one. Now watch what changes. Next time, she uses a simple shift. Every time someone says their name, she pauses, repeats it, associates it with something visual. Adam, like Adam holding an apple. She imagines it, sees it, just for a second. Now the guard, the gatekeeper, pays attention, and suddenly she remembers 7, 8, even all 10 names. Nothing magical happened. She didn't become smarter. She became present. Because attention is not just awareness, it's intention. And here's the deeper truth most people ignore. Your brain is constantly filtering reality. Every second, millions of bits of information hit your senses, but your brain deletes almost all of it. Why? Because it has to survive. So it asks one simple question: is this important? If the answer is no, gone. But you can hack this system. You can force your brain to care. How? By adding emotion, curiosity, meaning. The moment something feels important, attention locks in and memory follows. That's why you can remember a random, embarrassing moment from years ago, but forget what you read this morning. One had emotional weight, the other didn't. So if you want a powerful memory, stop chasing memory. Train your attention, because attention is the doorway, and most people are walking past it every day without ever noticing. Chapter 4. The Illusion of Repetition. Now here's a belief that's been drilled into you since childhood. If you repeat something enough, you'll remember it. Sounds logical. Feels right. But it's incomplete. Let's break it. Picture a student sitting at a desk, reading the same page again and again, highlighting lines, whispering the words. Hours pass. It feels productive. It feels like progress. But then comes the test, and suddenly, the answers aren't there. Why? Because repetition without engagement is an illusion. It creates familiarity, not memory. You recognize the information, but you can't recall it. It's like seeing a face you've passed 100 times, but never actually noticing. Now let's flip the script. Another student studies differently. Instead of rereading, he closes the book and asks himself, "What did I just learn?" At first, nothing comes. It's uncomfortable, slow, messy. But then something happens. His brain struggles, searches, builds connections, and in that struggle, memory is formed. This is called active recall, and it changes everything. Because your brain doesn't grow from repetition, it grows from effort, from retrieval, from challenge. Think of it like lifting weights. Reading notes over and over is like watching someone else exercise. You see it, you understand it, but you gain nothing. Real growth happens when you lift, when you strain, when you force your brain to pull information out of the dark. Let me show you how powerful this is. A language learner tries to memorize vocabulary, list after list, word after word. Nothing sticks. Then he changes one thing. Instead of rereading, he tests himself constantly, forces recall, uses the words in sentences, makes mistakes, corrects them, repeats. Within weeks, his memory transforms, not because he worked more, but because he worked differently. Because here's the truth no one tells you. Your brain values what it has to fight for. Easy input? Discard it. Effortful retrieval? Stored, strengthened. So repetition isn't useless, but it's not enough. Without attention, it fails. Without effort, it fades. And most people are stuck in this loop, mistaking comfort for progress. Reading more, remembering less, working harder, but getting nowhere. And here's where things take a darker turn. Because once you understand attention, once you understand effort, you start to see something unsettling, something hidden in plain sight. What if the world around you is designed to destroy your attention? What if the very tools you use every day are quietly training your brain to forget? In parts 3, you're going to see the truth. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Now, look around you. No, really, look. The screen in your hand, the notifications, the endless scrolling. Short bursts, fast hits, constant distraction. This isn't random. This is design. Chapter 5. The War for Your Attention. Every app you use is fighting for one thing. Not your time, your attention. Because attention is power, and the more fragmented it becomes, the weaker your mind gets. Think about it. You open your phone for one reason, just one. But within seconds, you're somewhere else. A video, a message, another notification. Your focus breaks, again, and again, and again. Each time, your brain resets. Each time, your memory weakens. It's not dramatic. It's silent, like water slowly eroding stone. Now imagine this happening every day. Hours of distraction, years of shallow focus. What do you think happens to your ability to think deeply, to remember clearly, to concentrate fully? It disappears. Not because you're incapable, but because you've been trained to be distracted. There's a young man, smart, ambitious. He wants to build something meaningful. But every time he sits down to work, he checks his phone, just for a second. Minutes turn into hours. Days turn into frustration. He starts believing a dangerous lie. I lack discipline. But the truth is, his environment is stronger than his will. Because willpower fades, but systems shape behavior. So he makes one decision. He removes the noise. No phone during work. No notifications. No instant dopamine. At first, it feels unbearable. Silence becomes uncomfortable. His mind resists. But then, something shifts. Focus returns. Clarity sharpens. Thoughts deepen. And for the first time, he feels in control. Because attention, once protected, becomes a weapon, a force, a superpower in a distracted world. Chapter 6. Rebuilding Your Mind. So now the question is simple. If your brain can be trained to forget, can it be trained to remember? Yes, but it requires intention, structure, and action. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Here's your 3-step plan. Simple, powerful, effective.
Step 1. Reclaim your attention. Start small. One task. 10 minutes. No distractions. No phone, no switching. Just focus. Train your brain to stay, to resist the urge to escape. Because every time you return your focus, you rebuild control. Step 2. Use the language of memory. Stop forcing information. Start transforming it. Turn facts into images, ideas into stories. Make it vivid, weird, unforgettable. Because the more alive it feels, the stronger it sticks. Don't memorize, visualize. Step 3. Struggle to remember. Close the book. Close the notes. Ask yourself, what do I actually remember? Force the recall. Let it be hard. Let it be uncomfortable. Because in that struggle, your brain grows, your memory strengthens, your mind evolves. Do this for 24 hours, just 24, and watch what happens. You'll notice it, the difference, the clarity, the control. Because this isn't theory, it's transformation. Outro. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. But right now, most people are using it on default settings, distracted, untrained, asleep. But you're not most people. Now you see it, the patterns, the mistakes, the truth. Memory isn't a gift, it's a skill. Focus isn't talent, it's a choice. And your brain is waiting to be trained. So the next time you forget something, pause. Don't blame yourself. Ask a better question. Did I give this the attention it deserved? Because the moment you take control of your attention, you take control of your mind. And when you control your mind, you control your life. If this changed the way you see your brain, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. And tell me this in the comments. What's one thing you've been trying to remember but never truly paid attention to? Think about it, because your answer might change everything.